Hello and welcome back to What the Football, where we still can't decide where we want to record our show, hence why we are now in somebody else's house. We know the person, so it's not just a stranger. Today we are going to be discussing... Oh my god, what a save!
Villa finishing the half strongly. In he goes towards Muriel, what a save, David De Gea!
Oh my
God.
days.
Muriel, you mug. What a save. We've got the Man United game while we're recording, that's all. So, today, 1 second.
We're good.
Half time's cool.
Half-time, cool.
Action.
Today we are discussing last week's Champions League football scores, some obviously goals, performances, how we think teams have done, what our expectations are from next week. Sorry, in a couple of weeks' time when they're having the next games. Some headlines, some news in regards to the Champions League performances and things like that. So, to start us off with, we're going to go straight into probably the biggest game of Tottenham's career in a while. The Juventus game in the Champions League. Game finished 2-2. Harry Kane scored one and Eriksen scored the other for Tottenham. And then you got Higuain who scored both goals for Juventus. One of them, it was a penalty. He also did miss a penalty. Now, it's a fantastic performance from Tottenham defensively, as well as being able to get the goals as well. And they played really well all across the pitch. Do you reckon Tottenham can turn it around at Wembley against Juventus and kind of push themselves through to the next round?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you saw him how they played against Madrid. You saw it in the first leg against Juventus. I mean, really, Tottenham bossed the game. I think it looks like they were the home team, and apart from a couple, like the first Higuain goal was a great goal, great set play, but it was a rookie error from Dele Alli to let him in.
Yeah,
and they could have quite easily won that game, Tottenham, and I think they were on top. They can absolutely go home and do the job.
it's interesting because performance-wise, I really did expect Tottenham to kind of do a good performance, and they did. They did a fantastic performance, but I didn't think they'd even get a point. I thought it was going to be like a 1-0 to Juventus. I thought it was going to be a quite close game. Juventus will probably just about edge it because of the experience those players have in the Champions League. The depth in the squad as well. But hands down, Tottenham are doing they're doing extraordinarily well in the last few years in the Premier League, and now they're doing exceptionally well again in the starting to kind of make waves in the Champions League as well. Still that same squad they've had in the last couple of years, slight improvements here and there. One performance that did stand out was it's going to be Eriksen again.
Yeah.
Pulling the strings from midfield. We've spoke about this a few times in regards to how he's a fantastic player, but maybe around the world is a little bit underrated in comparison to some of the big comparisons that you have at the moment to Kevin De Bruyne, who's a fantastic midfielder, but I think he doesn't get as much credit as probably he deserves. What do you think, Ben, in regards to Eriksen's performance in the game?
I think it was decent. The fact that they were 2-0 down in the first 9 minutes, like that, well, it's going to be a big knocker coming, especially away at Juventus.
Yeah.
I can't remember if there was the second half where Tottenham scored.
Pretty much, yeah. But
One towards the tail end of the first half.
yeah. Eriksen scored.
Yeah, didn't equalise and then give away a penalty.
Yeah.
This is the thing now. From Tottenham's perspective, 2 strong away goals. If Tottenham qualify, people's going to be really looking at Tottenham as a threatening team, kind of make ways for him.
Well, the big thing for the home leg for him is Wembley's a massive pitch, and obviously after playing there at home all season, Tottenham will be getting used to playing on a pitch of that size, whereas Juve maybe not. But I mean, the standout player for me in the first leg, absolutely bossed the midfield, and I think is one of the most unsung players in Tottenham's team. Moussa Dembele absolutely ran the midfield. You can't take him off the ball when he's got the ball at his feet. He's passing, always makes the right pass. I think he makes that team tick from the centre of midfield. He made the other midfielders, who Juve have some world-class midfielders, made them look average.
He's so defensively strong, and he's an absolute engine as well. He just does not get tired. I don't think I've ever seen the guy sweat. What are your predictions for the score for the next game?
I reckon it might be a 3-0 Tottenham, mate.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm going to go 3-0.
3-0.
I can see Juventus folding because let's be fair, last season until the final, the defensive record for Juve was insane. I think they only conceded 3 goals in the campaign.
Yeah.
So to concede 2 at home to arguably not one of the best sides in the Champions League, I think it's gonna have a bad effect, and I reckon it's 3-0 Tottenham.
You reckon it's going to knock the confidence down a little bit?
I think Son's going to get 2 and Kane will get 1.
Interesting, before we move to the next one, one of the things that came out, Lucas Moura, who we spoke about a few times and you said you were a massive fan of him, a little bit early doors, but says that Tottenham can win the Champions League.
Why not?
You reckon Tottenham can win the Champions League?
Why not?
I think
the
they're
day
like
that
squad
Leicester
depth.
won the Premier League, that's the day when I'm like, yeah, anything can happen in football, to be fair.
It'd be bizarre if Tottenham won the Champions League before they won the Premier League. I would find that quite...
It would, but at the same time, they can afford to focus on the Champions League more.
Because the Premier League's pretty much gone now.
Well, I mean, it's not like City have to focus on the Prem anymore, is it? Let's be serious. But no, but I mean, it's totally possible. They definitely have the quality to do it. And I mean, if they beat Juventus, who were last year's finalists, they beat Real Madrid in the group stage, who were the last year's winners. Yeah, they've definitely got the quality to do it. I mean, the only thing is, the only question is whether they can beat City. I mean, City have got to be the favourites.
So, next up, we've got Basel, the brush. No, I'm joking. Basel versus Man City, 4-0. Man City's goals, Gundogan with 2, Bernardo Silva and Aguero. Just another Man City game, really.
Yeah.
Well,
There's not a lot you can really say about it.
they're crap, aren't they?
What, Basel or
City.
Why?
Does it hurt?
It does.
You've
You know, I know we're not going to talk about Wigan, but you have no idea how happy it made me knowing that they're not going to win 4 trophies this season.
Jesus.
It's got to that point where I'm like a bitter fan that I just don't want them to win things. I don't care who wins it as long as it's not City, and I hate myself for it.
You've got, I mean, looking at Man City's performance, there's not a lot to say about it in regards to it's another great performance by Man City. Once again, a team working ridiculously well, and I would have thought that the likes of Leroy Sané being injured might have kind of hindered the performance a little bit in the Champions League because he's been a very key player for them. But you know, they've smashed their way through it. Nothing held them back. Just a solid out and out performance. And can I just say, Gundogan, oh my God, the
What a
guy
player.
is unreal. Absolutely unreal.
And he's a second pick.
Yeah.
He's not even a starter. And that's the thing. Out of the 4 goals, 2 for Gundogan, 1 for Aguero, 1 for Bernardo Silva. It's only Aguero you'd say is one of your starting players, and that's if Jesus isn't playing well. It's only because Jesus is injured, otherwise he might not have been in it either. But I mean, Bernardo Silva only got in because of Sané being out, and Gundogan only got in because of David Silva being out. And that's the one thing they've got. That's the scary thing about him, is
the squad depth is unreal.
Squad depth is unreal. I mean, if one player falls out, they have nearly always got a world-class player who can step in. Especially now they've bought Laporte.
Yes.
Especially now that's gone through. I mean, John Stones and Otamendi were having a good season anyway. Company you'd always rely on to be solid, but they needed someone else. I mean, we saw how rubbish Mangala was against Arsenal, and how desperately they obviously needed to get rid of him. And Laporte looks like he's going to be a good buy for him. Yeah, the squad depth is unreal.
I think the only place they kind of lack squad depth, which can hinder him, is if clubs kind of figure it out and kind of focus on that, is that left back role. Obviously, Fabian Delph has been doing a job there.
Against Wigan, he didn't.
Well, yeah, that's true. To be fair, he shouldn't have got sent off. That was not a red card challenge, but you know, he's been doing a job there for him, and he's been okay. It's not been bad, but you know, he's not a left back, and I would assume clubs who know that would maybe focus on trying to attack down that side, really test him, put him against someone who's quick, maybe someone with a little bit of, you know, skill, bit of flair to themselves, and push him down that side. But clubs are not really seeing that. They feel like they can beat Man City in this. And I saw that game, and Basel didn't really do anything. They weren't doing it. They weren't.
You can't do anything. It's like watching Barcelona. It's like watching Barcelona 3-4 years ago, when Barcelona were without a doubt the best team in the world. Back when they had Xavi in the team, and they were just untouchable, because everyone they bring on is a world beater. I mean, they have all the possession, they don't lose the ball, so you have to do whatever you can with 20% possession in the game. And for a team like Basel, who don't have really any world class players, there's nothing you can do with that. There's no one who can just turn the game on its head for you. I mean, City with 20% possession could still score 2 goals a game.
The big thing for them is that they've managed to keep the entire squad happy, because you've got so many world class players on the bench as well as on the actual pitch, and keeping them all motivated, keeping them all going, keeping them believing that this is a team effort rather than a spot who's just on the pitch must be extremely difficult. Who do you think's been Man City's most key player?
De Bruyne.
Tim? Now, how important do you reckon, if you was a Man City fan, which one of them would you rather lose, De Bruyne or Fernandinho?
Which one would I rather lose?
Yeah, if one of them was injured, which one would you rather be injured?
I know a few City fans, and my mate Chris is a massive City fan, and he's scared stiff of not having a replacement for Fernandinho. He's petrified. He wants them to sign this Fred. I don't even think he's seen him, but he wants them to sign him just because they need someone to replace him. And that's the thing. De Bruyne is invaluable in what he brings to the team, but when you've got people like Gundogan who you can bring off the bench, Fernandinho, there's no one who does his job. No one else who does his job. I mean, he's the one person who you'd sit in City's team and you think, if he goes, he's the one who brings that stability, and they haven't got a replacement for that really at the moment.
I think he's, like, going back to the Tottenham situation, the closest thing Tottenham have to Fernandinho's Man City is probably Dembele.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think Kevin De Bruyne is a phenomenal player, and he has been unreal for Man City. But once again, Fernandinho, we spoke about the tactics, about the wing backs pushing so far that Fernandinho then ends up slowly dropping back, and that then becoming a 3 at the back. That's an extremely difficult thing to do as a football player. You're going from being a centre mid CDM to potentially being a centre back as well.
Technical difficulties. That's my phone in my bag.
We're gonna have to stop because someone's ringing Ben. So important is it?
Oh, I don't have a clue.
Well, you're not gonna check.
Fuck him.
A few moments later.
Well done.
I should have just drilled that.
Honestly, what is he bringing for your team?
Pogba?
No, Lukaku.
Lukaku, he's shit, isn't he, mate? He's like Emuleski.
You heard it here first. He's like Emuleski. Anywho, before we move on to Liverpool, quick question. Alan Shearer stated on a newspaper article that he believes for Man City to be a world-class great team like your Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man United and things like that, they need to win the Champions League. Do you agree with that or not? I don't know why I'm still doing this, but it feels really good on my legs.
Bollocks. You're talking shit, Alan.
You don't think he's in the Champions League for it?
No. I think you're doing a disservice to the players to say that they need to win a Champions League to do it. They've absolutely walked the Premier League this season, which is arguably the most difficult league in the world, or most competitive league in the world.
They made it look easy.
Yeah, they've walked it.
Extremely easy.
And they're absolutely demolishing everyone. And you know what? If they come up against a team like Barcelona or Real Madrid or PSG or Bayern Munich, and they come close and they go out on away goals or something like that, you cannot have asked any more from the team.
No. Anyways, moving on. Next up, we've got Liverpool, who absolutely spanked Porto.
Demolition job.
It was so bad. Like, I'm surprised they allowed things like that to be shown on TV before 12 o'clock at night. Like, it was just wrong. You've got Mane with the hat trick, Salah with a goal, which was absolutely a mugging, and Firmino with a goal as well. 5-0, a solid win against a club who obviously won the Champions League previously, with under Jose Mourinho as well. Expected a close game. I expected like maybe a 1-1 or a 2-1, a slight win, but a complete spanking from Liverpool. Porto's goalkeeper, absolutely shocking. What were you thinking? Your distribution skills are shocking. Honestly, it's horrible. You know, if you play poker and you ask your mate to deal the cards and he just doesn't know that's what it was like. He didn't know where he was putting the ball. You have one, here's one for you, anyway. Absolutely shocking.
Is it Mane's first goal that went under him?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
He was like diving way past where the ball was. You're thinking, what are you doing?
My favourite thing about that goal is if you watch it, right, the ball goes underneath him. Before the ball goes even in the back of the net, he starts punching the floor. Yeah, I fucked up here. I know that. What an absolute mug. But from a Liverpool perspective, phenomenal performance.
Yeah.
Their front three, which is probably the feared front three in the Premier League at this moment in time, performed exceptionally well. Oh, Seville nearly scored. Performed exceptionally well. Mane got another hat-trick, which is, slowly but surely becoming a fantastic thing for Liverpool anyways. Salah mugged their entire team off with his goal.
Yeah.
Disgrace.
It took for me quite a bit of time to get on the scoring sheet. I expected it to be a lot earlier.
Well, they could have scored a couple more, couldn't they?
Yeah, they could have.
They could have comfortably won that about 8-0. And it wouldn't have been a horrible reflection on the way the game went. Porto weren't even close. But this is Liverpool. 1 week they'll play like that and they'll smash a team, or they'll give City the first defeat in the league, and then the next week they'll get beat by Crystal Palace. And it's just what you've got to expect as a Liverpool fan. It must be exhausting. I'd hate to be a Liverpool fan.
It must be quite weird to see Liverpool beat Porto 5-0 and then lose to a team like Crystal Palace. Nothing against Crystal Palace, by the way.
You're just an example of an average team.
Yeah. Oh God. But you think what's a better team? Porto or Crystal Palace? And in those cases, it's clearly Crystal Palace. Yeah. What do you think, Ben, from a perspective of your idea of Liverpool's being inconsistent? Where do you think that stems from? Where do you think that starts from?
It's that I don't know what it is with Champions League this season. It feels like everyone's going for it. Like everyone's putting the 100% in for the Champions League, expecting this is the competition we're getting this season.
Well, I really feel like all the English teams could feasibly go through.
Well, this is the best we've done in the Champions League for a long
time. Tottenham could definitely beat Juve at home. City and Liverpool, you think, are already through. We'll see how United do. Chelsea got a draw with Barcelona, conceding an away goal, but the players that they've got could go to Barca and could nick it. You could see 5 English teams through to the next stage of the Champions League.
Exceptional, yeah.
Which is nuts. But especially considering how we've performed over the last few seasons.
Last but not least, the game which might as well have been the Champions League final, Real Madrid versus PSG. I expected PSG to win it quite comfortably because of Real Madrid's inconsistent performances in the Liga Santander. Real Madrid obviously won 3-1. Ronaldo got 2, Marcelo got 1, and Rabiot got PSG's only goal. What happened?
That man again turns up for the big games. Been nowhere all season. He's had a crap season, and then Cristiano Ronaldo pops up and scores 2 goals when it matters most. Slag him off all you want. That's what he does best. He always turns up for the big games. Big game player. That's why he wins player. That's why he's won Player of the Year so many times. Is because when you need him most, he's there, Cristiano Ronaldo, and he will win a game for you. And they needed him to. Before we go any further, the Marcelo goal was class.
Oh yeah.
Was absolute class, and it was a great ball from Asensio, who I don't understand why people keep saying that Real Madrid need to sign a replacement for Ronaldo because they've got a ready-made one in Asensio.
Yeah, definitely.
He's going to be the best player in the world, in my opinion, at some point.
I like him, but I don't know which one I'd prefer, Asensio or Isco. Because I really like Isco. I think Isco's a great technical player. I think he's no offense to Juan Mata, who's a great player, but I think he's a slightly better
version of Juan Mata.
Yeah, assist wise, technical ability, it's phenomenal. He can play right wing, left wing, cam. He's a very, very talented player. Very, very talented player. And I think, and the Real Madrid fans really, really like him. In fact, they prefer him over Gareth Bale.
Who doesn't?
Spanish,
Because they're
Instant.
clearly racist. But, phenomenal player. And, you're right, though. Asensio did proper step up for that Real Madrid game. A big game for him, and he pulled some strings. On the other side, PSG didn't do as well as you expected them to do. If he had finished 1-1, that would have been a win for them. That would have been a win for both teams, to be fair. But I think in this current aspect, Real Madrid being 3-1 up, is a little bit more comfortable for them. All they need to do is go to PSG and just defend as much as they can, and maybe do similar to what Tottenham are doing, play on the counter.
Well, you think they're going to get at least one goal?
You expect it. You expect them to, anyways.
Which means that PSG are going to have to score at least 3. They have got the away goal, but it's whether you can limit Real Madrid to a 2-0. I can't remember the last time I saw Real Madrid not score.
Can't remember the last time, PSG didn't concede that many goals in the second round of a Champions League game after.
Well,
they thought
after the Barca thing, anything's happening.
They thought, Neymar ruined our life in that game, so why don't we buy Neymar so he can't do that to us again? Are they just going to carry on just buying every time a player scores a load of goals to them? Oh, he scored 6 goals against us. Yeah, buy him.
That's why Barcelona put release.
It's going. Ronaldo's going there next season. Look at that. Mata's gone off and Lenny Henry stayed on.
Mata. No, Mata. Romelu Lukaku. Lenny Henry. Oh, God.
You wanted more from Neymar, though, didn't you?
Well, you always want more from Neymar because you expect more from Neymar. I don't think I was overall expecting more from PSG. I just didn't expect Real Madrid to be as good as they were. I wouldn't say I was disappointed. I can't be disappointed with any PSG players. I'm not really fond of most of them. They're all money grabbing pricks.
I said about any player who plays for.
Yeah, I mean defensively, I think Marquinhos played all right.
So I'm
Who was
gonna.
the young lad they played as well? The one that
Kimpembe.
Yeah, the one
Yeah,
who got.
good little player in.
Is he the left back?
No, he played centre back because he got.
Centre half, Pascal Kimpembe.
Oh, okay.
I think he's called.
Before we finish it, I have 2 little things for us to kind of talk about. One of them is, I can't say this guy's name. Emery, the manager of fucking PSG.
Emery. You know Emery.
Why do you have so many fucking random letters in your name? Emery.
That's the Turkish guy.
Sorry, Erdogan.
Listen, Emery says that Real Madrid should be a lot scared about going to play at PSG.
Sorry, can we just say that sentence again? Real Madrid should be a lot scared.
That's the English. That's the English one.
Real Madrid should be a lot scared. Look at this. The goal, that, mate.
Okay, Emery.
It's had a good game as well.
Emery,
Sick.
the manager of
Best defender in
PSG,
Prem.
warned Real Madrid.
Emre.
Emery, the manager of Emery, the manager of PSG, said that Real Madrid should be scared. Okay. Emery said that Real.
That was your fault.
Emery, the manager of PSG, said that Real Madrid should be scared about coming to play the second leg at their home ground because he thinks that they've still got a lot to offer from the home ground.
Bye, have a beautiful time.